Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we have some gentlemen in our midst this evening. Thank you so much, Hina. Welcome everyone to today's session. Last year, I had the privilege of hosting the Growth Conference UK, and it was amazing. I want to especially welcome my team from the UK. I can see Ras is here with us. Hi, Ras. Thank you very much. And welcome to all our guests. The movement continues. I'm so glad with the progress we're making with the Growth Conference, the impact we're making, and it can only get better. So it's my pleasure to welcome everyone to our session today for 2025. This evening, we're going to be talking about women as drivers of economic growth. Like we know, women are powerful. Women contribute trillions to the global GDP, yet they are still underrepresented in sectors that drive high economic output. In Nigeria, for example, women run nearly 60% of the informal businesses. In the UK, women-led enterprises contribute over 105 billion annually. So when women thrive, we see lower rates. If these figures are not economic leadership, then I wonder what is. Let's start with the fundamental truth. Economic development doesn't happen in isolation. It's rooted in people, and women are the very heart of it. From the local market woman in Lagos to the tech entrepreneurs in London, women are creating jobs all over the world, solving community challenges, and investing back into education, families, healthcare, nutrition, just name it. According to McKinsey, one second, please. Women invest more, excuse me, just 1 minute. So women participated equally in global economy, according to McKinsey. And they said that with women, we could add about 12 trillion to the global GDP by 2025. And this is 2025. This is already a missed opportunity because governments haven't acted, financial institutions haven't acted enough. During my experience working in the banking industry in Nigeria, I had the privilege of working with so many female entrepreneurs, and I know the value that women bring to the table. With the right support, women are able to scale their businesses. I'll give an example with one of the customers I onboarded at the time. This woman was running with just a retail outlet. And by the time she got the support just through micro lending, she was able to scale her business. And within just 18 months, she opened she opened one outlet in Enugu and one in Abuja. How did she achieve that? This was an entrepreneur that didn't even know the capacity she had. Just looking at her books, it appeared, very simple. But when we looked deeper into her books, we found that she was moving over 6 figures monthly in cash flow. She employed about 5 people at the time, and with the right support, she was able to employ 20, 30, and has continued to grow. So women always reinvent. Studies show that they put up to 90% of their income back into the households, into the communities, compared to about 30 to 40% that men do. This creates ripple effects in everything from nutrition to school attendance, making their economic power a multiplier for societal being. Then talking about the access to finance and opportunities that women have. Despite the power that women have, access to capital remains one of the major challenges that women face. Women entrepreneurs face major challenges in financing, accessing financing. Let's talk about the statistics. Women-owned businesses globally receive just about 2% of the venture capital funding. In sub-Saharan Africa, for example, less than 10% of the formal credits is directed to women-led SMEs. Even in developed countries, female founders often receive smaller loan amounts under stricter terms for whatever reason. What I would say is that it's simply because the systems were not built with women in mind. Women are often likely to own land. They're often less likely to own things like land or other collaterals that financial institutions would normally require to give funding. And they're also likely to be in the informal sector. A lot of them lack simple things as business registration, financial records, or even have bankable status. Most of the time, women play in the informal sector. And this is why they're not really as recognized as they should be. For there to be change, financial institutions need to redefine what it means to be creditworthy. For example, from my experience in the banking industry, most of the times when people approach the banks for financing, most of the times you have to provide collateral. And you know that women are disadvantaged in this aspect. Most of the times, the women do not have the collateral. They do not own lands in their names. In Africa, for example, it's not normal for women to have properties registered in their names. Most of the times, women purchase properties and it's still in their husband's names. By the time they approach the banks for financing, it's almost difficult. It's almost impossible for them to get the necessary support that they need from the banking. So in my experience, a lot of banks have done so much in this aspect, but we're not yet where we're supposed to be. A lot of banks are still into collateral lending, which does not support the growth of women in business. Finance is not just about loans. It's also about opportunities in procurement, for example. What's the percentage of women representation in the procurement space? There's a project we're doing right now, and after the CSW 68 last year, we're currently doing a project for the UN Women UK where we're trying to see women representation in the procurement space. And as at date, it's still about 2% representation. This keeps women disadvantaged in the trade and procurement space. Governments have to do better. The corporate lenders have to do better in terms of making financing or creating the opportunities to make women thrive in business. Then talking about the strategies to overcome the gender-based barriers. We're going to talk about the strategies because in finance, it's all about strategy. Even when the capital is available, many women face structural and cultural limitations, which limits how far they can go in business. For example, time poverty. Women do 3 times more unpaid care work than men do. Most of the times, women are expected to be the ones at home taking care of the children. They're not paid for this care that they provide for the family. There's limited networks. There are, mainly men-dominated networks in the business space. There's also confidence gap. Studies show that women are more likely to underestimate their business potential or delay pitching until they are about 100% ready. I mentor a lot of women. And from my experience, we find out that many times women do not even know the potential that they have. This could be because they lack mentorship. They don't even have the confidence because the system has wired them to, believe that they can't do a lot of things that they're able to do. So how do we even break the systemic challenges? First of all, we'll have to build a support ecosystem. Mentorship is not an option. It's critical here. Women need mentorship. We need more platforms where experienced women can support early-stage entrepreneurs. In one of the organizations, I'm a director in Entrepreneur, where we mentor young women, where we support them to launch and grow their businesses. You find out that a lot of them just need that mentorship, where they will be guided, where they will be, shown the direction on how to grow. And it's been amazing the result that we have seen from, the mentorship that we provide for them. It's also important that we begin to recognize unpaid care as economic work, because the work women do providing care is priceless. If we have to place a price on it, I don't know what the figure is going to be. So it's time to change the narrative. We must move on from helping women to positioning them as, economic leaders, media, government and institutions and all that, to spotlighting them and, telling their success stories, not just as exceptions, but blueprints. Most of the times we celebrate women's success in the economic space as, exceptions. It shouldn't be so, because women are scattered all over the places, operating businesses in the informal sector. So regardless of the figures we have showing the contribution women make economically, a lot of these things are still undocumented. So I don't think that women need rescuing. What we need is recognition. They don't lack the potential. Women have the potential to add value to the economy, but they lack access. Like I said, women are not well represented in the space of procurement. We're not represented. We don't have equal opportunity when it comes to accessing finance to even grow the business. So I think if we're able to build systems around the strengths that women have, the entire economy will rise more from there. Thank you, Hina. That's it. I would like to take some questions to, throw more light on how women have contributed to the economy.
Thank you, Weluche. That was a very, very well thought out, informative session that got the grey matter rolling, I think, with many, because I can see some questions coming up. So if you're okay, Weluche, may I start off with a question? Mm-hmm. You mentioned mentorship and the importance of having mentorship, particularly for women, to help them progress and grow. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a question down here, and coincidentally, the same has popped up on the chat. Okay. In terms of how do we deliberately create the platform for women to have ready access to mentorship? It's not always intuitive or straightforward, I feel, in many industries. Mm-hmm. So how can we build that platform? But equally, how can women themselves, what tools can they implement to sort of reach out and get the right type of mentorship for them?
Okay, mentorship is everything. It accelerates learning and confidence. Okay, a lot of women out there need support in terms of mentorship. Networking opens doors to funding. It opens doors to collaborations and market access. Women often operate in silos, and I don't think it's productive. By connecting them, we amplify innovation and support. So we need more women-led business hubs, peer mentorship programs, and inclusive industry events. Mentorship plays a crucial role in empowering women. Like I said, at Entrepreneurs, what we have done is creating a platform for women in business in sub-Saharan Africa. What we do is starting from the scratch with them, providing financial literacy, providing hands-on support. And it's been amazing. You find out that a lot of them have big dreams, big ideas, wonderful business ideas, but they do not even know where to start. Some of them even have challenges as little as not having registered businesses. They never even thought it was possible. So we provide mentorship for them in terms of guiding them, teaching them, providing, just that financial literacy. It's all encompassing. And I've seen that work. Mentorship is everything. Especially for the young women in business. It's for everyone, not just the young people. But I'm just talking about the project that we're currently doing. It's been amazing. You know, a lot of times people have the ideas, but they just don't know how to go about it. So when you have other women supporting women, we all do better. So mentorship is everything. So for every woman in the room still wondering and still confused about how to go about growing your business or even launching your business, get you a mentor. It's very, very important. The mentors are there to guide you, they're there to support you. It works all the time. You can never get it wrong. So mentorship and networking go hand in hand. So while you're doing that, also intentionally make sure you're networking and learning and also sharing and, growing together.
Yes. So I think what I'm hearing is in terms of like the project that you mentioned as an example that provides that mentorship opportunities for women. Is there potentially a role there for them to put the spotlight on themselves and not advertise, but almost put out there in the open that this is the mentorship we can provide and these are the advantages? And perhaps equally, maybe, do you think it's fair to say that when you have women in that position who can provide the mentorship, they themselves should let it be known so that those who are looking for mentorship, it makes it that much more easier for them?
Both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Women have to make it known that they provide mentorships. For example, if you have a platform that provides mentorship, it's important you take it out there. Visibility is very important. It's also good that the mentee or potential mentee makes herself available for mentorship. And that's where networking comes in. Okay. You also have to be visible. You have to network. It's when you network that you get information. When you network, you get the right information of where to get the right mentorship, who to approach for mentorship. And I can tell you that there are so many women out there supporting other women. Women are always willing to help. There are so many platforms out there providing formal and informal mentorship to support women in business.
Yes. So yes, it takes both halves to make it work. Yeah. There's an interesting comment that's come up on the chat as well, saying it's sponsorships that can catapult women into the career or entrepreneurship progression that they need, as this kind of support would help them show their competency with confidence. So I think that's saying sponsorship as well as mentorship, both can work. Yes. Okay.
It's very important. It's important you have someone where you're interested in who will speak for you in that room that you cannot enter, or you don't have the opportunity of being in. Sponsorship is key. And one of the ways or the main way to achieve this is being visible, being intentional. If you don't go out to ask for those things, no one will know that you need those things.
Yes. One of the interesting things you mentioned was that example of the lady you helped who grew her business from the 5 people she employed to various other locations and naturally more people. It makes us think that we might be having so many women at grassroots levels where we're missing opportunities to sort of catapult them and help them achieve their full potential. How can, in addition to sort of the projects that you've been involved in, what are your thoughts on how governments can help these sort of, sort of startups, as so to speak, grow and achieve their potential? What sort of, economic policies can they help with?
Yeah, can I just take that again? I had a distraction. My son just came back from school.
Yes, not to worry. All I'm saying is you mentioned that example of the lady who your project had helped. And it made me think that there might be so many other people who are missing out at that grassroots level on achieving their full potential. How can governments create more inclusive economic policies for women to help in this space, in addition to organizations such as yourselves?
Oh, okay, thank you. I think for the governments, they must ensure that women are part of policy design. At that stage of policy design, it's very important that women are not just seen as recipients of policies. Women government has to give women a table, seats on the table at the policy design stage. Okay, that means inclusive procurement. That will mean that women are heard. When women are given seats at the table of policy design, they're able to present issues that affect them in business. Things like tax incentives for women-led SMEs, for example, public childcare support, just enforcing anti-discriminatory policies
Yep.
that will enable women thrive in business. Things like anti-discriminatory policies in credit and lending, for example. Do you know that? Okay, from my experience in the banking industry in Nigeria, there's this bias about lending to women. That's reality. Because I don't know, culturally, we just feel that women don't have the capacity to handle funds. But that's not even correct. Women have more tendency to repay facilities. I think it's facts because from my experience, I've never chased any woman for repayment of every loan like we do chase the men. I'm sorry for that. I'm very sorry, but you know, culturally, people believe that women. No, no, very sorry. I don't.
It's fair if it is,
But to be
your
honest,
experience.
people feel uncomfortable lending to women. So I think it's very important that governments come up with policies that enforces anti-discriminatory laws in access to credit and capital for women. Then inclusion must be embedded in budgeting, planning, accountability generally. So
Yes.
there's now the government looking at the way policies are made. I don't think we'll make a lot of progress. So it's very important that government looks into bringing in women at the
Yes,
policy design stage. I think it will change a whole lot of things.
a lot of things. I'm conscious of time, but you are very popular, Weluche, and there are loads of questions coming on along the right-hand side. I have one
Okay.
last question, if that's okay.
Mhm.
And that's only almost it's an interesting point from your personal experience is, you've achieved so much in the industry that you are in. You have got a breadth of knowledge, a breadth of experience.
Yeah.
Um, what, if you can highlight even, what is the one thing that has helped you along the way as a woman to get where you have got to?
Okay. Believing in myself,
Yeah.
um, because you find out that many times women also limit themselves. We have to really get to the point where we trust in our ability to do whatever we have set our minds to do. From my experience, a lot of women are also reluctant to even embark on some roles in the bank, for example. For example, a typical woman will tell you, I want to be in operations in the banking industry. They don't want to go out there chasing customers, talking to people, receiving all the no's and feeling defeated and all that. But for me, I just love to embrace challenges. When I was being moved from operations to sales, my mates then would ordinarily not want to take on such challenge, but I would always want to take on the challenge, watch how the men are doing it. Marketing is not just for men, it's for everybody. And I can tell you that I don't think there's anyone, if I'm to be in the bank again, I don't think there's anything you offer me that will make me to be a back office staff. I would rather be out there chasing customers, networking, building relationships, helping people grow their business. So I think it's believing in myself and believing in my ability. And another thing that has really, really helped me is collaboration. I collaborate a lot with people in my sector, people outside my sector, and just learning, just being open to learning. I learn everything.
I think you've hit the nail on the head.
I don't
That
limit
believing.
myself. I learn
There
everything.
you go. And it's
Yeah.
that believing in yourself. I think the collaboration also comes from believing in yourself, having self-confidence and resilience,
Yeah.
and a very go-getter positive attitude. And I can see that coming through from whatever you're saying, Weluche. It just shines through. So it's just, amazing. Thank you so much. And what a beautiful, beautiful way to start today. And so much to learn from as well. So, Weluche, thank you so much. But there are questions on the chat if you are okay to stay on and answer on the chat, if that is okay.
I'm here.
Thank you, Weluche. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Hina,
Fantastic. Thank you.
everyone for listening.
Thank you. Right. My goodness.